Internet, Eric here. It's been a while since I've done anything on this channel, and it's been a while since I've done anything on this channel, even longer on this channel when it's not like actually an unboxing video. So I figured work has air quotes slowed down a little bit for me, so I'll be back to discussing films. I've still kept busy, at least on the An American Werewolf in New Jersey YouTube channel. It's also a podcast if you want to listen to it audio only. Eventually, I'm going to create a playlist of everything I've discussed with Mike, whether just me and him or on a panel. I'm going to create a playlist on this channel, which will take you to those specific videos. So to help spread the word, because it's a great channel, great movie discussions, and he's slowly growing. He's almost at, as of today, he's at 95 subscribers. So great guy. Today I'm going to discuss a film that I truly love. Spoilers. Recently, we introduced our daughter to Secondhand Lions. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's a fantastic movie. And that got me the idea of introducing her to a movie that I absolutely love. And it's like Secondhand Lions. It deals with a character who just lives an extraordinary life and have had so many over-the-top stories to tell. And today I'm talking Big Fish, which in my opinion is Tim Burton's last great film. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. I can't read when this says. It came out 2004, maybe. It'll be in the description. Basic plot of this is we're following the relationship between Edward Bloom and his son. Does it say his son William or Bill, whatever? And Edward Bloom is dying, and the problem is William has always heard these tall tales of Edward's life, and through the visits between Edward and his son and William's wife as well, we get to hear these tall tales that Edward claims to have lived, all while the relationship between him and his son William is strained because his son doesn't know the truth, and he just wants to know the truth in Edward's dying days. I want to say I absolutely love this film. I already said that because the performances. Albert Finney as the adult Edward Bloom. There's something about him. All he really does in this film, he's either lie in a bed, lie in a hospital bed, or lie in a bathtub. But the way this man tells these stories that he has lived, supposedly, and we'll get to the ending, is just amazing. You truly believe that he is telling the truth. And he's got such charisma. It's very downplayed. You can see why his wife fell in love with him. You can see why his daughter-in-law really cares for him. And great performance. And Ewan McGregor plays a young Edward. And it's Ewan McGregor. When has that guy not been good? Great charisma, likability, great acting. You believe everything he says. And what really, I don't know if you hear that, laundry's done. No, live TV. What am I saying? Oh, you believe everything he says as well. And you also, what really drives Edward's story, young Edward, is his love for his wife. And you really buy that, the way Ewan McGregor looks at his soon-to-be wife, eventual wife, you know what I mean. And he is the star of this movie, and he is fantastic. Then we have other characters showing up. Jessica Lange is great as Edward's wife, in the present day. Danny DeVito is great as a ringmaster of a circus, because Edward eventually joins the circus to find out the name of the girl that he sees and falls in love with, Sandra. Danny is always great, and then just everyone's. Steve Buscemi shows up in a small role, who's great. Every single person in this film is so good. Whether it's Matthew McGrory, the giant from House of a Thousand Corpses, the guy who plays Tiny. Or who else is in this film, does it say? I don't know. Helena Bonham Carter plays two characters in this. Great in both. Everyone in this film is good. The Siamese twins, that Edward meets. Um, Everybody in that weird fucking town that Edward meets is great. Missy Pyle, who for some reason my wife doesn't like, but I do. She's great. Everybody is great. Take a shot every time I said the word great. Fantastic performances. The visuals in this movie are breathtaking. From the haunted forest to just a field of daffodils that Edward plants because he knows Sandra's favorite flower is daffodils. The look of the circus, all the air quotes freaks, beat the fat man, Mr. Soggy Bottom, who is the clown played by Deep Roy. The look of Danny DeVito, their version of the tall man, the beautiful looking, perfect town that Edward walks into. Everything has that Tim Burton look, but it's not overly gothic. It's not Batman. It's not Sleepy Hollow. It's not Sweeney Todd. You know what I mean? And it's not fucking, definitely not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But you can still tell it has some Tim Burton-ness to it. I just created that word, maybe. The soundtrack, all these oldies that play, helps date the film, but it's also songs that are ageless. The score is great. And then what really sells this movie, in my opinion, is Edward telling the truth. Now there's a scene where Edward is finally in the hospital, present day, and he's with his son. He's sleeping. He just had a stroke. And like I already said, plot spoilers, specific scenes will be talked about. Like I said, this movie's like 10, 15 years old. And William is talking to Edward's doctor. And Edward had always told this extravagant story about how William was born and stuff like this. And, he wasn't there because, he was busy catching the greatest catfish of all time. And he talked to the doctor. He says, what really happened? And the doctor told him, he's like, you know what? Sometimes stories just need to be a little bit more exciting, And the doctor's like, I'd rather would have heard the tall tale and then just some, excuse that, Edward just wasn't there because at the time, a lot of times, dads didn't go in the delivery room. Stuff like that. And then I didn't know if this was going to be tough to watch for me because if anyone knows me, I lost my father this past January. And one of the themes is a dying father, and his son's relationship. And I had a great relationship with my father. The opposite of this. But I'll tell you what, that last 10 to 15 minutes before my dad passed was already tough to watch because of how heartwarming and heartbreaking it is. And I'm not going to get into it too much because of what happens between William, Edward, and such, what story is created. And then we get to the funeral. And that was tough, this last viewing. Got through it easy, not as hard as I thought it would, but if you are dealing with a loss of your father, maybe, if you haven't dealt with that, maybe this isn't the movie for you, but I will say you still need to watch this film. And what I love about this film at the end is the funeral. And let's just say they still leave it up to interpretation on whether, concerning the guests that show up for the funeral. It's possible these stories happened, but then they threw a curveball in a lot of it at that very same funeral about how there's definitely some embellishment and how nothing really happened. So, but I highly, highly recommend Big Fish. And it's a road trip movie. There are scenes where he's in Korea. That's where he meets the Siamese twins. Like I said, he has to work, I think, for 3 years, 3 years or 3 months, something like that. I think it's 3 years in a circus, doing all the shit jobs like scooping the elephant crap and washing, the fat man, just so once a month he will get clues to who this girl is that he's fallen in love with. So just that stuff like that, and you're drawn in with these characters because they're so good. Um, and I already mentioned Jessica Lange, how great she is. She's got very little screen time with Albert Finney, but the way they perform with each other, you can tell that they've loved each other for decades and decades, and it's never changed. And it's just a fantastic story about family, fantastic fantasy, a fantastic what if. There's some action, there's some comedy. If this was Tim Burton's last film, I truly think he would have gone out on top. Now, I don't know if Sweeney Todd came after this. Sweeney Todd is really good, but this, and he's also had Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was okay, and I didn't really care for Alice in Wonderland. I never saw the sequel. Big Fish, I think, is his best film since Beetlejuice. No way. Beetlejuice or Batman. No, Batman Returns is probably like his last great film up until this. If this was his last film, he would have gone out on top. Absolutely wonderful film. Highly recommend this if you have not seen it. If blind buy it, I highly recommend. If you like some of the film, a lot of the films that I discuss on this channel, I don't see how you cannot enjoy this film. Just like I said, be forewarned, if you lost a family member recently and you haven't coped with that yet, that last 10 minutes, maybe even 15, is gonna be tough. But you know what? Great films don't always have happy moments. But I highly recommend Big Fish. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that crap. Glad to be back. Hope to be posting more content on this channel lately. I will be bringing back Bloody Sunday. Corey Needgore. Now King Needgore has returned. I want to have his concept on this channel that I was doing for a while return as well. I got a couple more movies planned to discuss, and in the next series I'm going to get into per the poll I put up on Twitter. Was it Twitter? No, I put it up on the community page. Apparently, I have a community page now on YouTube. Aliens. So I'll be talking the Alien franchise. Most likely not. What you call it? Prometheus, and probably not Alien Covenant. I'm just going to do the Ripley stuff. How about that? So with that, like and subscribe, comment below. Tell me what you think of this film. Tell me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, if you've never seen it, what makes you want to see it. I'm just rambling because I'm tired from work. And cheers.